all that glitters is gold. And it's quite easy to get taken in by appearances in a situation. When that happens and our eyes are subsequently open to the reality of where we actually are, it's quite easy to feel really down on yourself. It's quite easy to, well, for lack of a better way to put it, to think that you've been, really stupid. And you can spend your time when those realizations actually happen, getting further down on yourself, giving yourself a hard time, creating a rod for your own back. And ultimately, when that happens, you're not going to achieve anything other than staying stuck in a situation that ultimately doesn't work for you. Let's face it, in one particular area of your life or another, you're finding yourself in a position where your eyes are beginning to open to the reality of a situation that you once thought was a particular way, but now you're finding is actually quite different than you ultimately expected. Between now and the 10th of September, Venus is continuing its transit through Chitra Nakshatra. Chitra Nakshatra pulls us into situations because we feel like it's the right thing to do, right? Ethically, this is correct. My values tell me go in this direction. This is the thing that ultimately I should be doing. And we get pulled in deeper and deeper. And occasionally we find ourselves in a position where we go, wait a second. This is not the way it seemed at the beginning. This isn't turning out quite as I expected it to be. And now I'm finding myself in a position where I feel somewhat disgruntled. I feel upset, and I'm disenchanted by something that ultimately initially, that makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, initially, ending and beginning over and over again. I should say something that, appeared to be one particular way ultimately turns out to be quite different than we initially thought it was going to be. Right? And sure, you can give yourself a hard time. You can blame yourself if you really want to. Maybe initially that will serve an ounce of a purpose in terms of creating the impetus to shift you in a completely different direction. But it's not really going to serve you beyond that. Right? It's very easy to get pulled in by things. We're always, going through life from one experience to another. And we have to make decisions in the moment quite often. And when we make those decisions in the moment, it's very easy to make what we might later come back to look at as being a wrong decision, right? Wrong decision, right? Wrong, right? Wrong, right? Wrong. Okay. So, but all you can really do at that particular moment is correct your course. And correcting your course doesn't guarantee that you're going to end up with a situation that's ultimately going to feel right either. It may feel right initially and then ultimately can feel wrong again. But what's most important is when you feel that your heart is no longer in something or connected to someone, that you recognize the awareness of that. Your heart is going to act as your compass, your sense of direction, along with your intuition throughout the course of your life. Initially, it may be kind of hard to tune into that. We get confronted with circumstances, and sometimes they can seem very confusing, and it's very difficult to make a decision in one direction or another. And likely in your life at the present moment, you're finding yourself in just such a conundrum. And that area of life is going to be related to wherever Venus is transiting in your chart, whatever houses Venus may rule, planets that it's forming aspects to, numerous things. And if you could like a little bit of help sorting out which of those areas it might be connected to, I do offer several different levels of astrological service. Those are available through my services page, where between now and the 4th of September, you can schedule in with me at a 10% discount code using the code GIFT, all uppercase letters at the link above. So how do you get out of that conundrum when you feel that you're stuck? Right? Well, You could go and you could look for the next alluring thing and get taken in again, right? Or you could go and look for the next alluring thing and, convince yourself that you'll never get taken in again. Or you can go, the best thing I can do is go with my heart at this particular moment in time. Which of those would you choose to do, right? It's probably the latter that's going to be the best choice. Ultimately, you need to perhaps make the decision that if something ultimately seems wrong again, that you recognize that the best you can do is go from moment to moment, making the decisions that feel right. And you have to trust that those feelings that feel right in that particular moment can ultimately be the right thing for that particular moment. It's kind of naive to think that something that is right in one moment is going to be right in every single moment going forward. Best thing you can do, rather than going, I'll never get fooled again, or I'll never feel stupid again, or I'll never be taken in by appearances again, is simply to go, when things begin to feel wrong in my life, I'll make the decision to correct them in a manner that I best think is going to bring more satisfaction in my life, bring more nourishment to the people who I have connections with, things that are going to serve me, and it's okay to serve yourself, and things that are equally going to serve the people to whom I have responsibilities to. And ultimately, when you do that, and that's likely a situation you're finding yourself in this week, is what I'm going to say next, which is you may find that you apply yourself. And because you're having to trust in a sense of direction that ultimately you're not really, 100% sure about, and because you're likely with whatever action you're taking in connection with this particular alignment, you're likely feeling that you're having to make a radical shift. And in addition to making a radical shift, you're likely feeling that the actions that you're taking are actions that you're going to have to take alone. You're likely feeling that what you're doing or what you need to do needs to be done with the intent of the greater good for all involved and connected with you in mind, as I was just saying. And it's very easy once you kind of begin to take action in those particular directions, especially when you kind of hit a little flaw in your plan. It's very easy to just kind of throw it all on the scrap heap and go, I need to kind of rip this down, start all over again. I've been stupid again. I'm just lost. I'm confused. You have to not, with this particular alignment, because there is potential for this, you have to not let your confidence get drained. Venus, as it's transiting Chitra Nakshatra, is being aspected by Jupiter in Shatabhisha, Saturn in Shravana Nakshatra, and joined by Mercury in Hasta. You may want to change this situation in a manner that's quicker than it ultimately can be changed. You may feel some nervousness beneath the surface in regards to how quickly or how slowly things are ultimately evolving. What you need to do is allow yourself to take your time with the situation. The best way to allow yourself to get into a position where you feel like you're making correct choices for the moment and not choices that are, ultimately going to take you in a wrong direction, is to be patient with the process, to be patient with your decisions. And maybe in retrospect, go back and look at that initial moment when you committed yourself to this particular scenario that you find yourself in, and take a look and examine ultimately whether it was incorrect in the first place or whether it's actually just incorrect now. You owe it to yourself to forgive yourself. You owe it to yourself to allow yourself to learn with each new experience that comes your way. Yes, not all that glitters is gold, but not everything that glitters is fool's gold. So you are not always going to be taken in. Things do occasionally go right. And then in the next moment, hey, they can go wrong again. I'm not going to, feed you fool's gold and dangle carrots in front of you again. But the most important thing is that you just recognize that things change, things shift. And when you find yourself awake in one moment, don't give yourself such a hard time about having previously been asleep. And if you could use a little bit of help sorting through the difficulty of this situation, as I mentioned, several different levels of astrological service are available through my services page. There's presently a 10% discount being offered on all services through my services page using the discount code GIFT in all uppercase letters at the link you'll see above. That's going to do it for this look at Venus's transit through Chitra Nakshatra, which takes place between now and the 10th of September 2021. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.